Everyone is talking about mortgages at the moment. Even in the Finder office, there's at least 4 of us who are going through different stages of the process. So instead of the usual how-to video, I thought I would invite my colleagues, Emily and Kate, along so we could give you the real person perspective of the mortgage application process. Now, before we get stuck in, I have to say that none of this is financial advice. We are just sharing our personal experiences and stories. And if you do want more information on mortgages, you can check out our Mortgages Hub on finder.com by clicking this link up here. Cool. So, Emily, you are a first-time buyer. You've just submitted your first mortgage application. If you could sum it up in one word, how has the process been so far?
Stressful but interesting.
Okay.
So more than one word.
That's fine. It calls for several words, I think. It's such a long process, isn't it?
Is.
So where are you at right now? What's happening?
So we've just had mortgage accepted and we're going to organise a survey and then,
That's a lot of waiting, isn't it?
Yeah, every day you'll get more information, but it is like once a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, a long process.
And was there something you didn't know before you started this process that like you wish you had known?
Maybe the actual steps and what comes next. So when you should instruct your solicitor, when you should apply for the mortgage, when that sort of thing.
And I would add to that as well, a step-by-step would be so helpful, but also that can even change in and of itself, which is so crazy. I feel like a lot of the process is, here are the steps, but also all of this could absolutely change at any second. Kate, your situation's slightly different because you've just remortgaged.
Yes, I have.
So tell us a bit about that and like how has that been different from sort of your first experience of just getting the mortgage?
It's obviously different in that you don't have to like be working with like sellers and things like that. You're not trying to like put an offer in on a house or anything. Like you've obviously got your house, but then it's trying to work out what mortgage term you want, what provider you want, what rate's going to work, and then just the process as well of sort of making sure that obviously people are talking to people and who you need to be involved and stuff like that. So yeah, this one's been a bit more complex than other ones, but we're sort of, I'm on the finish line. I'm on the home straight.
Great. How does that feel?
Such relief. I think it's just, I'm sure you two find the same, like it's just low level stress the whole time. There's always like, I need to be on something, I need to be checking something, and like the idea of like in a week or so it's off my admin plate is just huge.
Yeah. We always say it's like a full-time job, don't we?
Yeah. Literally, it is a full-time job, trying to do it like and it doesn't wait either. You have to have certain things delivered by certain days. Yeah. So you can't just be like, oh, I'll deal with this tomorrow. I'm hungover today. Yeah. It's like, no, you have to do it. Honestly. And I do think, it's a lot of waiting, and I've had to get into a headspace if I can just do what I can control. Because you send off lots of documents, and if you have a broker, they're taking care of a lot of it for you. And there is just a few days where you may not hear from anybody, and you just have to like keep the faith.
You've got to trust that everyone's talking to people, and then sometimes they're not. And then you're sort of like, should I be the one facilitating or someone else doing this? Or is that unknown of like who's driving this process so that we can get it through?
Yeah. That's the thing, like communication, where we're not going for a broker, it all falls on like me and my partner.
Yeah.
So we have to be the middleman for everyone.
So tell me about that. So a lot of people, or some people choose to go through a mortgage broker. I'm going through a mortgage broker because my family recommended him. And for me, it's been super easy. So he's just literally like, send me XYZ, and he sent it off for me. I guess the downsides of working with a broker is that you could be charged fees, and obviously they may not have certain products that another broker might have, or that you can just look for yourself. So what's your experience been just doing it yourself?
So we did have an initial chat with a broker, and we just got basic questions out of the way, just starting point. And then we were just like, actually, we probably could do this on our own. My parents are helping like with some research as well, but it is very much, you've just got to be clued up with research. And like comparison sites are amazing when you're looking for the actual mortgage. But then, like I said, like step-to-step guide, what comes next. Yeah. It's all research, it's all on your own back.
Yeah.
So it makes it more stressful, as in it's more on your plate, like so more admin on your plate. But it's also, it's quite nice because you're fully in control. If you don't send off something, like it's on your back.
Yeah, so you don't have to do that worrying of like, is my broker talking to the right person? Are they doing what they need to do? Yeah. You're in charge.
Exactly. Nice. But then also, the downside of that is obviously like working hours. Yeah. We have full-time jobs as well. Like you have to find those like little 5 minutes phone calls. Yeah. and there's a lot of phone calls.
There are a lot of phone
A lot
calls.
of phone calls.
Honestly, I've been saying to you guys like every day, I'm like, the day where I don't get 5 to 15 phone calls a day.
Literally.
So I made a mistake. Well, not a mistake, a lesson I have learnt in this process.
A learning opportunity.
Exactly. We reflect, we grow, we learn. So I was talking to Danny, who's another colleague of ours, and I was like, God, I get so many phone calls every day. And he went, did you go via like a big search engine for conveyancers and surveyors and solicitors? And you put your details in, you like say what you're looking for, and then you get 4 quotes from like people who match, companies that match what you're looking for. What I didn't realise is what they must do is they then send off your information to everybody that's like linked onto their website. So I was getting emails, phone calls, texts, like basically any way they could communicate. I'm surprised like an owl hasn't arrived. Like, do you need our services? Because it's just ridiculous, and there's so much that you're already stressed about, and every phone call I pick up because I'm worried that it could be something like really important.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't wait to the day to just like block everything. That's a really, good thing to learn, where I think I would probably try and avoid too many sort of blanket form type things where you just send off your information. You literally told me before this that you got your mortgage accepted. That must be such a great feeling.
It is a really great feeling. So it would have been sooner, but then with like circumstances, the valuation got pushed. So we would have got the acceptance sooner, but I'm just glad it's done, and then we can move on to the next thing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And how have you been like keeping calm during the process? Are you quite good at just waiting it out? Because I'm not.
No, I'm constantly refreshing my emails, like constantly. And a lot of things with lenders, you find that they like to send things in the post. So like when you're doing like ID checks, you have to wait for the letters. And then it's just like, okay, when's the post coming? When's the post coming? And then you got the strikes as well for the post. So it was like stressful, but you've just got to push through it. Yeah. It's going to be done, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah, there's an interesting point there, because I think the things are changing in that, like, because I've done all of mine digitally, all my ID checks, everything like that has been digital, and it's speeded up the process so much quicker. So I guess it's if you're looking for conveyancers or solicitors or things like that, maybe even considering that if you are on a tight time scale, because then it just, as you say, you're not beholden to the post and strikes and everything with that. So that's
such a good point.
Yeah, depends who you go with. I wonder if there's like a way that you can work out who does everything digital and who does.
Yeah, I guess it's just when you. I mean, my solicitors, my conveyances were given to me by the mortgage provider, so it's been just part of that service. But I guess if you are looking and on a site that you're trying to like, compare, it would be something to sort of consider if it is an option.
Yeah, a friend of mine, she found solicitors who they've got like an online dashboard, and she really liked that. So she doesn't need to call them. She can just log in and kind of see what next steps are, and it'll send her like tasks and stuff.
Same, I've got an app that shows me the process of exactly where I am at each point. I can message them through the app, send all the documents, scanned documents through my phone through the app.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's just made it so much easier.
Yeah, that's so helpful.
I wish I had that.
That's the thing.
Waiting for the post.
I feel like everyone has their own process, and that's what's really important. And I've really benefited from being able to talk to you both, talk to my other friends who are going through it. One of the things a friend really recommended to me was, when it comes to solicitors, you can often get ones that have a clause where it's like for example, my solicitors, they have a no completion, no fee.
We talked about this.
So if the house falls through or it doesn't work, like I won't be charged, or it'll maybe cost me hundreds rather than thousands of pounds, basically. And my friend has one where they have like a sort of 2 goes kind of clause. So if you don't complete on this house, they'll then let you use their services for the next one for the same price, which is really great. And it's all these like little nuggets that you just pick up along the way, because there's so much to learn. I feel like you can't necessarily read everything and be like, right, now I know what I'm doing, because they'll like different things will get coughed up along the way.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also another level like of choosing the right solicitor. So it could be a clause like that, or it could be that you just get on with them and they're quite personable. Yeah. And you really need that, because they are literally gonna like deep dive into your like bank details and things, and like you need to get on with them, and you need to
And you need to know that they will contact you or respond to you. I think my first experience of buying a house, We went for the solicitors that the estate agent recommended, and it was just awful. It just the stress at the end of like we were constantly emailing, constantly chasing, and just nothing. There's nothing coming back.
As this is your first time, what were your like expectations of the mortgage process going into it?
I thought there'd be a lot more paperwork and a lot more checks. I think because we had everything all together already, I think it kind of helped us and benefited us. And with the market as it is, I think a lot of lenders are just trying to like pump through applications.
Right.
But I didn't expect every day is a new communication. So you have to literally wait the 24 hours for them to like come back round to your application. I didn't expect that. I thought if I was sending something off, I'd get a message in the evening saying like, oh, we've received it, something.
Right.
But it is literally like the next day
Yeah.
or a couple of days, which I didn't expect.
Yeah. There's a lot of, oh, this will be confirmed in 2 to 4 working days.
Yeah.
And then it isn't. And then my instinct is immediately to panic.
To
be like, right, well, it's not been accepted.
That was actually a big fear for us, like as a first time buyer and with like hard credit checks and things. I was just like, what if it doesn't get accepted? Like what's the next steps?
Yeah,
So-
we've talked about that a lot as first timies, especially with rising interest rates and you know, house prices might go down, fine, but interest rates are definitely going up, and that can counterbalance any savings you might get.
Yeah.
And there's, I think, within 24 hours, my monthly repayments had gone up by £40 just because the interest rate had gone up.
Yeah.
And there was this huge panic then to like not only just get everything submitted but also to just have it accepted, because if anything happens, my interest rate could now be like way higher, and it may, you know, you could potentially be outpriced of your mortgage.
Yeah.
I mean, timing is everything at the moment. I got my mortgage offer through like a week before the mini budget and the new like interest rate and all of that sort of stuff. And it means it's sort of reasonable, but it's just changing so fast at the moment, and it's only going one way. So there is this sort of like everyone's just trying to get something accepted and offered, tied in and locked in.
Yeah, it's like panic applying right now. Who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of months?
I've got friends who are paying early repayment charges to remortgage now to get a lower rate for a longer term, and they're like, over time there's actually going to be financially better for them in their situation than like waiting until the end of their term and then seeing what the rate will be.
I've heard that. Quite a few of my friends are like in the same position, like first time buying. A lot of them have now decided to put off until next year.
Have they?
Just because they're like, with the market as it is, and
you can't. You would worry you're buying at the peak with high interest rates, and then it's like, where are you with that? It's
exactly.
That's
so hard.
definitely, I have that fear a lot of like, is this the right decision? Am I, you know, shall I wait for prices to go down? Shall I wait for interest rates to go down? But for me, I need somewhere to live. I just keep that in mind. It's like, that's my driving force. I need a roof over my head. I need somewhere to live.
It's a big decision, and you've got to be all in. So
and I feel like there's so much advice out there, and like experts chiming in. You can basically read until you find someone that supports what you want them to say, which is great. But I do think it's really helpful to get clear on like what your goal is. If you were trying to make like loads of money off a property, then maybe, I don't know, you might want to read the market more or wait or whatever. But if you need a home, you need somewhere to live.
I think that's the thing. You've got to look at it as like it's going to be where you live. It doesn't therefore matter what that housing market's going to do. If you're in there for a long time, like then that's fine. Like it's if you're not playing the market at that point, you're just finding a house to live in. And you've got the flip side, rents are going up. It's obviously every circumstance is personal, but like that's another thing to weigh up of kind of like, is this the time to kind of get on the ladder?
Did you feel, Kate, that you were more prepared going into your remortgaging situation? Because like, I've done it before, this is going to be a breeze.
You would think so. You would absolutely think so. It's one of those things, you don't do it frequently enough. And the process, like, so, I mean, the last time was 3 years ago. So then it's kind of like, well, what do we do? What happens? And there's sort of different circumstances and things like that. And it's, as you say, you do just need a step-by-step guide to sort of refresh yourself of like, oh, okay, this is what I need to do kind of thing.
Or literally like a to-do list of like, just a tick. Like, I've done that, I've done that.
Thing. And what point of time to do it at. So obviously knowing when your mortgage term ends and when you can sort of move into the next thing and things like that. So I mean, I used a broker because it just kind of made sense to like have someone guide me through this little bit.
What gave you and your partner the confidence to go without a broker? Was it like the financial decision? Were you just like, I can do this?
Well, it was kind of a mixture. So what he quoted us was quite high, and we were kind of
So you're like, I don't care, I'll figure it out.
we were kind of just like, right, is this wise? Like, can we do this ourselves? And we went in with knowledge of getting a decision in principle. Like, we already had one, and he was just like, oh, we were going to do that today. And it was just like, so we were going in with research.
3 steps ahead, baby.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's it. Everyone's journey is going to be so individual, and it's important to do it like the way that works for you.
That's the thing, it's really hard not to compare to other people. But I think, like we said, in our office, we've got so many people going through it and so many different stages and so many different circumstances that it's nice to have like a soundboard. But yeah, you do have to remember that everyone's individual. It's the scariest thing you're doing at the moment until the next scary thing.
That's such a good point. Kate, what was one thing you wish you had known before you bought a place?
God, that's a hard one. I don't know, I was in such a like, there's such a thing of getting on the property ladder that you become very focused on it. So you don't necessarily sort of think about like kind of the steps and the reality of it sort of once you're in. So I guess it's all the knowing exactly the extra costs. So you've got, obviously you're buying a house, but you've got solicitor fees, you've got stamp duty, you've got surveying costs and things like that. So and VAT.
Always factor in VAT.
And so it's sort of actually understanding that, then the moving costs on the day, and just like, I think when you are buying a house, you just feel that your money's just coming out. I think in terms of remortgaging, it's the knowing like when the term ends, but when the actual final payment is, and then you actually, if you're remortgaging at a different amount or a set rate because of the timings of it, you will actually get some money back from the other mortgage provider and things like that. So there's all these little, and you're talking about thousands of pounds. It's a bit crazy that we're not kind of on it a lot of the time, because as you say, you've sort of had furniture fund, but maybe not a stamp duty fund.
I know, I thought about my sofa and my beautiful L-shaped sofa, but I hadn't thought like had to pay for stamp duty, and I mean I hadn't even thought about moving costs.
Sorry.
I'm like, wait, I have to move. I forgot about that. What's something you wish you knew before, Emily?
How stressful it actually will be. It's a lot at the beginning, and then I think it's just going to go like quiet for a bit, and then it's going to be a lot. And I think going in like mentally prepared, because obviously it's such a big thing and you are going to be stressed and you are going to have so many things on your plate, but going in fully aware of how like much mental space it takes up. Like, I'm very privileged that I'm doing this with a partner, but like you guys are doing this like solo. So
solo, baby.
There's no one to delegate to.
Exactly.
I know.
What was it that you said? It was just like, don't fall in love until you get like your keys in the hand.
Oh yes.
Which is
Do
like
not-
a big thing.
Absolutely, Don't fall in love till the keys are in your hand, and like nothing is guaranteed till the keys are in your hand. Even though mentally I've actually moved in and like I'm living there.
You're planning where your plants are going.
Exactly.
I love Rightmove and Zoopla for like when I'm not moving house. I like to just look through. Like, as soon as you actually have to try and find somewhere, it's horrendous.
It's like you can't find anywhere.
No, because
there's nothing
there is
available.
no dream property. Like, it's always based on the timing, the market, your circumstance. Like, if you're about to lose your buyer, then you've obviously got to get in somewhere, so it's what's available at that point. So I think it's remembering compromises need to be made. You're not going to sort of be able to sort of waltz in and have like absolutely everything you want.
And you can make anywhere your home.
Exactly.
That's such a nice thought. What is like the worst piece of advice that somebody's given you?
Maybe how much you're offering. So like, don't lowball your seller so much, but also you can offer less. Like, and you can go back with a different offer. And at the end of the day, if they pull the plug, they pull the plug. They don't want to sell.
Yeah.
And then there's another property. You move on.
Yeah.
Some people are just like, just offer like this much. I'm like,
Just offer 50k less. And you're like, they're going to be insulted if you do that.
I was like, they're just not even going to look at it.
I think mine would probably be not so much bad advice, but just people putting on you what they think is important in a house. So like, it took me so long to find a place because I wasn't clear about what I actually wanted. I was like, outside space is more important than a second bedroom. And then I was like, but that, in England, outside space is really only
For a couple of months.
A year. And like all of this stuff, my friend, people were saying there's no such thing as a perfect house. You have to compromise.
Yeah.
That I totally get, but I don't think I got clear on what I actually wanted. So I was very easily influenced by people saying, yeah, you definitely need this. No, you need parking. No, you don't need Worst advice is just to like listen too much to what other people's preferences are.
Yeah.
Just actually get really clear about what you can and cannot live with.
I feel like estate agents are also very good at this. No, because they are meant to sell the property, right? So when you walk in, they're just like, imagine you can have a sofa here, you can have like table here, you can have your stuff here, and it's just like, okay, that's great, but we need to look at the actual like structure.
Yeah.
Is there cracks anywhere?
And I like test the water.
Oh yeah.
I'm really
I
annoyed.
spoke to my auntie about this.
Yeah,
She's just like, you're not one of those people who like turn the taps, and I'm like, you've got to be.
Yeah.
If
I
I
look
want
at
to shower,
everything.
I want to know if it's going to be powerful.
100%. Kate, what about you? Worst advice?
I think it's getting very fixated on areas. I think like a lot of people, especially I've got kids of school age, so when we were moving ahead of school time, it was all about school catchment and this and that, and just kind of like, I think don't pinpoint yourself on one criteria, because your life is bigger than that, and so it's kind of like get something that does fit your family, but like don't just literally be like, well, it has to be this, we've got to get it in that, because it's just not going to be feasible.
We had a weighted spreadsheet, so we had like 1 to 10.
Oh, it's so sad.
No, it was like literally like 1 to 10, like location, does it have a second bedroom, can you rent it if you want to rent it, and then we weighted them, and then every property we saw, we literally like marked out of 10.
I feel like you're going to be my broker next time I move. That's incredible.